We're getting some dramatic photos today of an 8-year-old boy who was smuggled inside a suitcase.
Human skull discovered at Fort Lauderdale Airport this afternoon.
From dead animals to literal human skulls, these are the most disturbing things people try to take with them on the plane, but got seized by the airport officials. Hiding drugs inside your body is extremely life-threatening, and this 22-year-old woman just took it to the next level by trying to smuggle approximately 1.5 kilograms of liquid cocaine hidden inside her breast implants. Now that's absolutely crazy. I can't even imagine the look on the officers' faces who caught her at the Colombian El Dorado International Airport. According to the officials, this unfortunate woman arrived in Colombia nearly 10 days before she was caught. And in the meantime, she went through this painful surgery of stuffing filled implants in her body. To make matters worse, those implants actually caused a severe infection in her body, and I will consider her very lucky that she got caught by the police, thanks to which she was immediately sent to the hospital to seek medical help. But let's say she didn't get caught. Well, it's highly possible this risky stunt would only have resulted in her death. A female officer at Dubai Airport received a disturbing call informing her that there were snakes, allegedly live, inside a passenger's luggage. In the scans, you can see the disturbing sight of many capsules packed with snakes inside the luggage. And at the very end, there's another bag much larger than the other ones, containing a full-grown snake as well. Then they retrieved yet another baggage belonging to the same passenger who was trying to smuggle the snakes. But this time, it contained monkeys and even kittens inside, which are believed to be fed to the snakes. Now that is truly inhumane. First, I showed you snakes and monkeys being transported via luggage, and now it's a bunch of live lizards hidden inside a passenger's underwear. This bizarre incident occurred in December 2009, when a man was caught red-handed at the Christchurch International Airport. The man was about 58 years old and was headed to Singapore, but instead of carrying Christmas presents, he was hiding something much more sinister. The airport officials became suspicious of him, as, according to them, he looked quite nervous and was also way too late for his scheduled departure. The passenger was brought in for a luggage checkup and was soon handed over to customs to thoroughly examine the stuff he was carrying, with the possibility that he might be a smuggler, and they couldn't have been more right. As they went through his stuff, the officer saw something moving in a black sock, and it turned out to be a decent sizzled gecko. The passenger tried to act dumb, acting as if he had no idea how it got there. But it only put him in even bigger trouble because the officers were now going to search him as well. They stripped him and soon discovered pouches in his underwear packed with even more lizards. Each pouch contained one gecko, and then there was one that consisted of 3 lizards. This smuggler was definitely a pro at his job and knew the best and smelliest places where he could hide these poor animals. It seems like some passengers just want to bring chaos to a plane. Why can't they follow the rules and go through customs rather than smuggling dangerous animals and putting everyone's life in danger? I mean, just look at this idiot who was luckily caught by the security while checking in at Miami Airport. The airport staff noticed that the man was hiding something under his clothes, particularly his pants. When they gave him a full body check, that's when the truth finally unfolded. The smuggler was carrying a secret pouch underneath his pants, and inside it was not one, but several baby snakes. The Customs and Border Protection officers were immediately informed, and soon the snakes were also handed over to the FWC. Well, at least the snakes in the previous incident were small babies, but this time it was a decent-sized baby python. Just see how it's wrapped inside a breathable sack. But you won't believe that this one actually made it past the checkpoint and almost made it on board at Miami International Airport. The snake was concealed inside a hard drive, and somehow the smuggler managed to get past the security. Now, if you're a fan of James Bond or the Kingsman franchise, you would know how secret agents like to carry weapons disguised as everyday objects. But the best part is how good they are at it. Unlike them, these agents, or should I say passengers, couldn't even get past security with their hidden weapons. Like this passenger who thought he could just sneak past the security with a collapsible baton, along with his blade hidden inside a comb. But that wasn't the end of it, because the same passenger had also strapped a butterfly knife to their leg. Well, it's hard to imagine why they would need these things with them while on a flight or a place where they're heading to. Like I previously said, people are just crazy for trying to sneak past the security with hidden weapons. This passenger was caught at Logan Airport for carrying a cane that had a sharp blade hidden inside. The airport staff asked the passenger about this shocking discovery, but the man was just as surprised as they were, as he had no idea there was a blade inside of it. Thankfully, he was allowed to hand over the weapon and continue with his boarding. Trust me, you're not ready for this next one. This story is not only disturbing, but also extremely bizarre. This incident also occurred at Logan Airport, where the TSA officer seized a shocking object hidden inside a child's car seat. The object was none other than a massive-sized butcher knife. Well, at first, you might think it's no big deal. But it's worth mentioning the weapon was inside a child's car seat, which only sparks even more suspicion about why conceal it like that. The TSA discovered it when a mother and her baby came in for screening, and that's when the car seat was scanned and revealed the weapon. Now, this is even more bizarre. Why would anyone want to smuggle everyday objects like they're trying to smuggle drugs and get themselves in trouble for no good reason? This passenger at Logan Airport was stopped when the TSA discovered something unusual inside a shampoo bottle they were carrying. When they cut it open, they found 2 black packets, which seemed to carry drugs like marijuana. But instead, it was something even more shocking. The packets contained 2 box cutters. Now, why would you want to smuggle them like that? Why not just buy new ones once you reach your destination? It's not that they're some rare objects or something. Whoever made this taser should be given an award. I've never seen such a spot replica of a mobile phone, which, instead of running Instagram or Facebook, is used to shock people with high voltages. The taser was luckily confiscated from the passenger when they tried to take it on board at Reagan National Airport. The mobile phone taser was discovered by TSA officers when they checked a carry-on bag, indicating that the passenger was planning to take it on the plane. So far, I've shown some of the weirdest objects. However, there are some people who take things to the next level by bringing explosives in their luggage, like this passenger who made quite a stir at the Manchester-Boston Regional Airport for bringing in a grenade in his luggage. The TSA was shocked, but soon realized that it was no grenade, but rather a grenade-shaped hot sauce bottle. Well, I understand why the TSA was alarmed. In the X-ray, the grenade looked definitely more real than you can imagine. Similarly, in another video, the TSA shows some shocking stuff they've confiscated from the passengers, which includes all sorts of strange things, from pocket knives, switchblades, to literal fireworks and fake yet very realistic-looking grenades. Most of these things may be considered toys, but they could easily get you in a lot of trouble. But do people learn to follow the rules? Obviously not, because their obsession with bringing grenades to airports is unstoppable. Another incident occurred at Milwaukee Airport, where a man brought in a weird toy tank made out of a grenade. Well, that guy should be arrested for making such a crappy art piece and carrying it around like it's something to feel proud of. And once again, a grenade. At LaGuardia Airport, the bomb team was called when a grenade was retrieved from a passenger. But it turns out the grenade was real, but thankfully not a live one. And according to the passenger, he received it as a gift from a museum. Even if it was a gift, how dumb do you need to be to carry it around at an airport? At Newark Airport, another dumb passenger was caught by the TSA officials. The man was trying to board the flight with 6 live smoke grenades. Now, I don't know what he was thinking of doing with them, but even if one of those went off mid-flight, it would have been a disaster and even life-threatening. So, now you've got the idea, right? Don't bring freaking grenades at an airport. Now, this is even crazier. Imagine you're a TSA officer and you come across a lady wearing a knee brace. Everything seems normal until you see the X-ray revealing something very bizarre. Well, that's what happened at Logan Airport when the TSA officer discovered through the X-ray that the female passenger was actually hiding 4 knives in her knee brace. In the image, you can see that the knives she was hiding were actually butter knives from a cutlery set. But the question is, why butter knives and why hide them like that? The passenger was not allowed to board the flight and was immediately handed over to the state police. Butter knife is one thing. Imagine discovering a firearm. Now that would be interesting, right? This time, the TSA found an impressive replica of a rifle made entirely out of glass at Logan Airport. The beautifully crafted art was so detailed that it totally shocked the officers for a second. Thankfully, the passenger was allowed to get it checked in and carry on with their flight. I already know you're going to get disturbed after watching this one. At the Dulles International Airport, the US Customs officials found something extremely bizarre when screening a passenger who arrived from Vietnam. In the image, you can see the things the officers discovered. At first, it's hard to figure out what it even is, but it's actually a bunch of dead seahorses. In fact, there were about 80 of them, along with 5 coiled-up dead snakes. Moreover, the officers even found 5 jars that contained snail ointment. If the disturbing sight of seahorses wasn't enough, then here's another incident at the Dulles International Airport that might just make you puke. The airport officials decided to examine a suspicious package inside a passenger's luggage who was coming from China. Normally, such a package could contain everyday items or, in worse circumstances, could be drugs, but nope, it was something much more sinister. Dead birds. You heard that right. The package contained several dead birds, and they were about to be delivered to someone living in Prince George's County. Thankfully, the officials seized the package and destroyed it, as it could have caused an outbreak of bird flu. China is the ultimate market, and the counterfeit goods seized at Dulles International Airport truly prove that. The airport officials seized over 3,000 fake merchandise items, valued at about $2 million, covering a wide range of luxury brands. These goods are so well made that it's nearly impossible to tell them apart. Imagine being at the airport checking and screening passengers' bags, but then suddenly one of the passengers brings in a dead body. Well, that's what happened here at Atlanta Airport when a man brought in a full-sized human corpse, which was in reality just a prop. The prop was actually an original one that was used in the renowned horror franchise Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The TSA allowed the realistic fake corpse to pass through the conveyor belt and eventually board the flight. Nothing could be more random and unexpected than this. This is truly a wild story, which occurred back in April 2013 at Fort Lauderdale Airport, when TSA agents inspecting checked bags found a human skull and teeth fragments at the bottom of a flower pot. 2 women in Cuba bought the pots, but they seemed totally normal and ordinary until one of the 2 flower pots broke and revealed the fragments. This turned the screening area into a crime scene, as even the woman who brought the pots was also pretty shocked by the discovery. They told the officials that they had purchased the pots completely sealed from a religious shop. Authorities did believe their story and didn't file any charges against them, but the pots were sent for lab evaluation, as they might be related to a long-lost murder case. Now, this is beyond terrifying when Mexican authorities at the Querétaro airport found 4 human skulls wrapped in plastic and aluminium foil inside a box headed for Manning, South Carolina. It's believed the box carrying the skulls of 4 different individuals was sent from Apatzingan in Michoacán, which I should mention is a region known for cartel violence. Thankfully, before it could reach its designated address in Manning, the package was examined via X-ray, revealing its contents. At first, it seemed like odd-shaped objects, but when they were opened, the horror revealed itself. Mexico's National Guard said the shipment broke laws on handling corpses, as it requires a special permit to transport remains and also a bit of respect, which we can't see in the slightest in this incident. The true origin of the skulls and the identities of the deceased remain unknown to this day. This smuggler's luggage is alive, or at least what they're carrying inside is alive. The incident occurred at Perth Airport in Australia when 2 Japanese men were caught by airport officials. When their bags were scanned, the X-ray revealed oddly shaped objects inside, so they decided to open them up, only to find that the packages inside were moving. There were a total of 13 bobtail lizards that these men tried to smuggle. These lizards are native to the Australian region and are obviously worth a lot if sold on the international black market. These 2 passengers, or should I say smugglers, messed up their $1 million plan after arriving at the JFK airport. The customs official noticed something unusual about them and decided to check them out by stripping them. This led to the great revelation that both passengers had strapped over 20 pounds of to their legs. The drugs are estimated to be worth around $380,000. Now that's a big-time mess-up for the security officials at Santo Domingo, who didn't catch them first when they boarded the flight from there. Here's yet another creative smuggling technique that failed miserably. This Canadian woman, named Tabitha Leah Ritchie, was arrested on September 11, 2013, at Bogotá's El Dorado Airport. She was on her way to board an Air Canada flight to Toronto while carrying over 4 pounds of cocaine hidden in a fake pregnancy belly. The fake belly was taped to her body and concealed by a shawl. One of the airport officials asked the woman about her pregnancy, but instead of replying calmly, she acted aggressively, which made her look quite suspicious. The officer then decided to pat down her belly, and it felt unusually hard and cold, which led them to find out it was a prop. So far, I've shown you smugglers concealing drugs in their bellies and even breasts, but these sneaky people can even hide massive amounts of illegal substances in their hair, like these 2 women. Both of them tried to board the planes in Colombia at 2 different airports, and luckily, both got caught. In the video, You can see how the airport officials cut up the hair extensions and take out several capsules containing. The incident occurred when a flight headed to Philadelphia was about to carry a very strange passenger who was thankfully stopped by the airport security in Los Angeles before she could board. The passenger's bag was scanned by the TSA and revealed a crazy number of illegal items, such as 82 fireworks, 3 knives, 2 replica firearms, and a can of pepper spray. This Jamaican woman thought she could easily fool the airport security and smuggle a whopping $90,000 worth of cocaine. Well, I guess the only person she was fooling was herself, as the federal agents at BWI Airport noticed something unusual about her suitcase, as it was a bit thicker than usual from the bottom. And that's when her true smug face was revealed. The thicker part was actually a hidden compartment that contained thousands of dollars of cocaine, which weighed approximately 1,300 grams. The French customs officials at the airport confiscated a whopping 400 primate monkey skulls that were on their way to be smuggled to the United States. Thankfully, the officers were able to send this entire smuggling mission to the dumps. The sight of these skulls is not only terrifying, but also pretty sad, as many of these poor beings belonged to the jungles of Cameroon. Now, for the most bizarre and disturbing thing that was ever seized at an airport. The incident occurred at a Spanish airport where a 19-year-old woman named Fatima arrived with her luggage. She was traveling from Morocco to Ceuta, and when it was time for screening, the Border Patrol noticed that the lady was acting very nervous. But everything was about to unfold because the X-ray revealed a humanoid figure tucked inside the suitcase. A truly terrifying moment for everyone. When they opened the suitcase, an 8-year-old boy was inside, whose name was Abu. While the officials talked with Abu, and only 2 hours into the investigation, his father was also arrested as he was caught while trying to cross the border into Ceuta. It's believed that the father must have paid that woman to smuggle his son, but the entire plan failed for good. Can you imagine being stuck inside a luggage for an entire flight? I can't. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel to see more similar content in the future.